Hello students, how are you? I hope you are all well and my classes are helpful to you for understanding the syllabus of your second summative examination. In our previous classes, I have discussed about the root system, shoot system and about the stem. And my today's topic is about the part of a plant which is termed as a kitchen of a plant body. Yes, you are absolutely right. I am talking about the leaf and my today's topic is the leaf. So first of all, you have to know from where the leaf is originated. Leaves are originated from the nodes of the stem. And what is leaf? What will be the definition of leaf? A leaf is a thin, flattened, green and expanded structure growing on the stem or branches of a plant which acts as main food production region of a plant. It is typically green due to presence of chlorophyll in its cells. So after studying about origin and definition, you have to know the structure of a typical leaf. Here I have drawn a diagram for you which is very much important for your examination. That this diagram is about the part of a leaf. So look at the base of a leaf where leaf is connected with the stem or branches is called leaf base. And the long slender stalk-like structure is called petiole which carry the broad expanded part of a leaf. It is not necessary that every leaf has petiole. Many leaves are there which don't have petiole. They are directly connected with the leaf base, with stem. And look at the broad flat part which is called leaf blade or leaf lamina. And the margin of the leaf lamina is called leaf margin. It may be continuous or it may be notched, it may be waved as you found in many types of leaves. And the main vein that runs through the middle of the leaf lamina is called midrib, which carries water and minerals to the whole leaf and carries food to the rest of the body. And the tip of a leaf is called leaf apex. So, leaf apex, leaf blade, midrib, leaf margin, petiole and leaf base are the main parts of a typical leaf. Okay students, I hope you all understand. And then after studying about the structure, we are going forward to the types of leaves. How many types of leaves are there in nature? You have to know that. So mainly two types of leaves are there. One is simple leaves and another is compound leaves. Look at the pictures. In this picture, one is mango leaf and another is grape leaf. So what is simple leaf? Simple leaf is one in which lamina is not divided. Sometimes lamina is divided but the divisions do not reach up to midrib. So look at the mango tree, the lamina is continuous which is not divided and leaf margin is also continuous. But look at this grape tree, the leaf margin is not continuous. The leaf margins are notched, but the ridges don't reach the midrib region. So both these two are the examples of simple leaf. Now the next type of leaf is compound leaf. So what is compound leaf? Lamina is divided and the divided such that the division reaches the midrib, breaking the lamina into smaller leaflets on the both sides of midribs. So lamina is divided into leaflets. Look at those leaflets and the midrib is called rachis. So remember these two terms, that rachis and leaflets, which are very much important for your examination. An example of simple leaf is rose, tamarind, etc. So these two types of leaves are there, which is present in your syllabus. Now you have to read about the difference between simple leaf and compound leaf, which is also very much important for your examination. So just note down the differences. In simple leaf, the lamina is not divided, and in compound leaf, the lamina is divided. The second point is, in simple leaf, if the lamina is divided, the divisions don't reach the midrib, as you see in grape leaves. And in compound leaf, the division reaches the midrib, which forms the leaflets actually. And the third point is, a bud is present in the axil of a simple leaf. But in compound leaf, a bud is present in the axil of a compound leaf, but it is never present in the axil of a leaflet. So what are the examples of simple leaf? Leaves of mango and people. And what are the examples of compound leaves? Leaves of neem and rose. So it's all about these two types of leaves. Now next I am moving on to the venation of leaves. So what is venation of leaves? Venation of leaves are arrangement of veins and veinlets in a leaf blade is called venation. If you thoroughly observe a leaf, then you see in some leaves that some net-like structure is found there, which is called as, and the arrangement of this net-like structure is called venation, which is mainly of two types. One is parallel venation and one is reticulate venation. So here I am showing you the picture of a parallel venation, which you can be found in banana leaves. Just look at the picture. It is a picture of a banana leaf. So what is parallel venation? The veins are arranged in parallel rows within the leaf. For example, leaves of monocots such as grass, wheat and banana. You just notice the parallel arrangement of the leaf of the vein and veinlets. So this is a picture of a parallel venation. Now we are moving on to the reticulate venation, which you can be found in people leaves and hibiscus leaf and pumpkin leaves, etc. So what is reticulate venation? The veins or veinlets are irregularly branched, forming a network. There is a midrib in the middle of the leaf, which gives out secondary veins and veinlets extending towards the leaf margins. For example, leaves of dicots such as mango and people. So students, here is a task for you. You have to write the difference between parallel venation and reticulate venation with proper example. So I hope you are all understand about what is venation, and the difference of two types of venation is very much important for your examination. Now I am moving to the next topic, that modification of leaves. Other than the typical leaf as you show in the structure of the leaves, there are other type of leaves also found in many plants. Although the primary function of leaves is to synthesize food, in some cases they get modified into distinct structure to perform special features or special functions. These leaves do not look like a typical normal leaves, and hence they are called modified leaves. So what are the examples of modified leaf? So they are modified for many functions. It is not that they are modified without no reason. They perform many functions by their modification. So what are the functions? They can be modified for support. If you look at the tendrils of a pea plant, just look at the picture. It is a tendril of a pea plant which is modified for support. Okay, students. By this tendril, they get attached to their stout support, because these plants are climbers and they can't stand upon by alone. So this is the one type of modification of leaves which found in leaf tendrils in pea plant. And the next is modified for protection. These can be two types, thorns and spines. So thorns in barberry plant is present, which is modified leaf, and the spines of opuntia, or you can be named as cactus, are present, which is nothing but a modified leaf. Just look at the picture, that is thorns in barberry, and this is the spines of prickly spear. It is a desert plant and spines are used in those plants for protection. And in this cactus plants, their spines also helps to reduce the transpiration, because they live in desert where the amount of water is very low. So they reduce transpiration by modifying their leaves into spines. And the next for food storage. You all see onions at your home and you all eat also. So the fleshy leaves or onion is nothing but a modified leaf, which are fleshy and juicy due to storing of food. And in some plants, in some interesting plant, that is pitcher plant, Venus flytrap, here leaves are modified into pitcher-like structure or trap-like structure, which can grab insects by when the nitrogen level is low in their environment. They catch insects with the help of this pitcher-like structure, which is nothing but a modified leaf lamina. Is you find it is one type of modification of leaf. And you look at these onions, the fleshy leaves are modified for to store the food. And what is next? For vegetative propagation. Many leaves like Bryophyllum which are modified for the vegetative propagation. So by which how they modified for vegetative propagation? So in multiplication of plants by their vegetative parts such as roots, stems and leaves is called vegetative propagation. Leaves of plants such as Bryophyllum develop small buds called adventitious buds on their margins. These buds grow roots and fall from the leaves of the parent plant. On coming in contact with the soil, they grow up into new plants. So, Bryophyllum leaves are modified for vegetative propagation. So, the picture is in your textbook, but here is a picture of Bryophyllum, which is a modified leaf having adventitious roots, which is modified for propagation. And it is a picture of a Venus flytrap, which is also an insectivorous plant. And just look, the lamina of the leaf modified like a trap for catching insects. Okay, students. So those are the many types of modified leaves. You just remember the names of the modification, function of those leaves, modified leaves, and example. That means in which plant you find those type of modified leaves. Now I am coming to the end of this your leaf syllabus, and we have to know about the function of leaves. The first point is leaf is a site for photosynthesis. Due to presence of chlorophyll and due to presence of broad expanded lamina, it is the main site for photosynthesis in which the glucose is formed by the plant. The second point is site for the exchange of gases during respiration. Leaf blade contains stomata by which the gaseous exchange can be done, and during respiration they emit carbon dioxide and they absorb oxygen, and during photosynthesis they emit oxygen and absorb carbon dioxide. By this way they also helps to prevent air pollution also. So site for the exchange of the gases during respiration and also photosynthesis is one of the important function of a leaf. Leaves also helps in transpiration. The excess amount of water which is not required in plant's body, they can be excreted by the process of transpiration with the help of the stomata that present in the leaf. So leaf also helps to balance the water amount in the plant's body. Those three are the main function of the leaves, and other than that you can say the modification of leaves, such as leaves helps in vegetative propagation, leaves helps in support, leaves helps in protection, and all that. So those are the main functions of the leaves. So students, I come to an end of your leaf chapter. Follow my class and read your textbook thoroughly. I will give you the activity task to you as it is written in your book. So stay well, stay safe, and give feedback. And if you have any questions, then you can post to the group. Okay students, thank you.